hearts for Urgent. Drop those in chat. I appreciate the resub.
Oh. How are you doing, though?
I'm doing
Mr.
well.
Man.
I'm doing well. It's a short work week, which makes me happy. I have Friday off, so I have one more day of work this week, and so that makes me happy. Wizards of the Coast announced that they have a game design position open for D&D, and I'm figuring out how to turn my resume into a dungeon crawl to submit to them. But
impressive.
Yeah.
Are we going head to head on that?
If you're applying, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm applying for it too.
Yeah. Then yeah. I have a snowball's chance in hell of actually getting it. But I'll take that chance.
Same here.
HP Fox, thank you for the resub. You guys drop hearts in chat for HP Fox.
I'm gonna drop a bunch of lewd dice.
No, I'm very curious.
Him.
Oh, but yeah, how was everybody's week?
Horrible.
What'd you get up to? Max sounds like she had the best week ever.
So I am currently in the position of looking for work. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's not
ever
fun.
I'm going through that, but it's given me time to, as well as I'm doing that, giving me a little time to update the campaigns that we're working on right now and put a little more thought into my streaming and everything like that.
So I expect more bears throwing zombies at HP Fox then.
Oh, I try to work that in. I try to work things throwing things at HP Fox every campaign.
Or does happen pretty regularly.
I mean, last night he got taken down by a creature that, if it critical hit him, it could have made it to where whatever his current HP total or his current HP value was at the moment became his new HP maximum.
And for the majority of that fight, my current HP was less than 10, so that would be
like
bad.
Fun. It's when you start like multi-classing into like fighter or barbarian or something, so that you get the extra hit dice.
I'm considering it.
4, how was your week? We haven't heard from you yet.
It's been filled with Hollow Knight for the majority of. It's a game that I've already sunk about 26 hours in, and I think I only beat the game on its like neutral ending in the last 30 minutes. So it is, and now I can see myself playing it for another 20 more hours. It is quite legitimately one of the funnest games I've ever gotten invested in, and it does Dark Souls so much better than Dark Souls.
Right on.
In every term of that genre.
I will have to go give that a look. I haven't played that one yet.
Oh yeah, and it's only $15. Like this game, cheap, very well put together. Oh my lord.
Nice. I was trying to play Wolfenstein 2 and kept getting black screens whenever I loaded to a new area, so I went and got a refund on that today, which made me sad because I really enjoyed the first one. But I'll wait for them to patch it and then rebuy it or something.
Makes sense.
Mags, other than computer issues, how has your week been?
Other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Right on. Well, you're not washed out anymore, so that's good.
Yeah, I managed to get my other camera installed.
You're actually maybe a little dark. I don't know if you have a light to turn on. If you turned them off while you were adjusting that earlier or not. But it's good either way.
I don't know. She looks fine on Zoom. Just
okay,
dark on the stream.
It's just dark on the stream then.
There we go.
Oh, you know what? I might have the color correction that I was messing with earlier set up on her, trying to get her color right. Let me see. Let me turn that off if I did. Maybe, and then she'll
fine now.
Too bright.
After adjusting her lights, she looks fine.
All right, I'll leave it alone. Stop messing with things.
Stop touching.
All right. So for those of you that did not join us last week we did character creation for Mouse Guard. which is a game that most of us have never played before. Which is kind of what we do on the show. We pick a game for a month. We pick a guest star to come play with us this week, or this month it's 4. And this month we're playing Mouse Guard. And we did character creation last week. So we have some general ideas about our characters, and to be honest, this is one of the few times in the systems where I've made a character and I'm already like, I love this character. I want to play this game right now. Because generally with D&D, I'm like, all right, I have a neat concept, and it'll be fun to see how it plays out, but I'm not like super in love with the character idea right away. And this one, I'm like, all right, I like this character already. I want to just jump in and play. So I think that's probably what we should do. We should just jump in and get started.
You say that as I'm looking for something.
Of course I do.
What's the best way to start Mouse Guard?
Yeah, it's the best way. Is the DM is trying to look for something, and on top of that, like I was eating a taco like right as we went live. So
while you're looking for something, should we go around and introduce characters?
We should go around and introduce characters anyway, because for those who weren't here last week, they should get to know who your character is. So let's go around the table, and since he's drinking right now, let's start with HP Fox.
Randomly.
Randomly.
Rude. So I'm going to be playing Issa, which is short for Isabel. She's a very timid and shy mouse. She doesn't really like to go out and experience adventure. She'd much rather spend her time picking flowers and making flower crowns and just kind of staying out of sight and out of mind of everybody. She's not one to pick a fight, and if she finds herself in a fight, she'll probably just try and run away. She is a patrol guard, but not really by choice. She was kind of pushed into it by her mentor, and she's just trying to do her time essentially in the guard so she can go back to her secluded, quiet life.
Bags.
Ophelia is the youngest of the group. She is very excited to be part of the Mouse Guard, although she doesn't quite have a clear understanding of what's expected of her. All she knows is that anything you can do, I can do better. And not much really seems to scare her until somebody points out why she should be scared of it. She's even gone so far as to make herself a cape before she's even really supposed to have one. She took a thrown out bed sheet and it's like, you know what? I'm going to play with the big kids. So don't try to leave her behind because she will hunt you down. She tried to ditch me.
And for probably the most colorful of the mice in this campaign.
Ooh, I appreciate that, but that's only because of his dazzling purple cloak. I am playing Patrol Leader Quincy. He comes from Copperwood, I believe, the oldest town inside the Mouse territories. And Quincy has grown up in a very influential family who have a lot of business holdings, and I believe he's going to be the first to be in the Mouse Guard inside his lineage, particularly because it's an exciting new opportunity to expand the family's wealth and influence. But he doesn't really see it that way at the moment. He sort of is enthralled by the structure of the Mouse Guard. It's so much more interesting than the familial patriarchy that he grew up on. And I get the sense he just has a lot of brewing confidence. and he just knows best, and he's going to ensure that everyone knows that he is the new hotshot patrol leader in the Mouse Guard, and that's how it's going to be.
And finally, we got Imp.
So I am playing Jeremy, who is younger. Younger than, well, I guess not younger. He's in his mid-20s, and he's a patrol guard, so he's been around for a little while, but not very long. And he grew up hearing stories of heroics, whether these be actual tales that happened in the Mouse Guard of some heroic deed that a guard did, or just lore and stories that get told around a pub or tavern's fireplace. And he grew up believing all of these stories and believing that he could be just as heroic as the mice in those stories. So he's joined the Mouse Guard to prove himself and to go on adventures and write them down and tell his own tales.
And I'm the DM who's going to kill all their mice. Well, that's about it. That's about the gist of it.
All right, everybody. Patrol leader in back. That's how it's done, right?
I mean, that's how I heard it.
Tenderpaw, you go first. You need experience.
That's a little too. Now all I see is Ophelia just charging into a minefield with a stick.
Snake field.
I'm just gonna go into this badger den. It's fine, I'm sure.
It's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. Okay, so I have so many tabs open on my screen right now because of this stuff. I actually wrote stuff today for you guys, if you could believe it.
Woohoo!
So we are going to go on our first mission here. So how missions work in this, and if I'm totally incorrect please point that out so we're not botching our way through this. But once you guys are given a mission, each of your characters is going to have a goal, an instinct, and a belief that are like RP tactics for you, and completing these or sticking to these beliefs will earn you things like fate points that you can then use to bolster your roles and influence other things for your character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little rundown of what's going on, and then the four of you are going to just go through and say what your beliefs, your goals, and your instincts are. If you need any help like determining that out, we can do that when it comes up. But your group is going to be starting on the road. Halfway through a mission. Quincy is in his hand is carrying a signed or an official mission document detailing why this group is out in the wilderness, and it reads as such: Sir Quincy, it is of the utmost importance that you and your guards provide assistance as members of the Mouse Guard. In the city of Copperwood is a young mouse that shows amazing promise as a smith, and we believe his skills would better assist the Mouse Guard. An agreement has already been reached between the guard, the young smith, and his family, though due to his young age and lack of survival training, we feel he will need an escort to ensure his safety as he reaches Lockhaven. Upon reaching the city of Copperwood, seek out the mayor Cornelius Underwood and present him with a letter of introduction provided with this briefing. He will introduce you to the young mouse, Christopher Brass, and his family. You will give the young mouse 1 day to say his goodbyes, and then you must leave promptly for Lockhaven. We look forward to your return, Captain Arabelle. And yes, I used your rival.
I don't like who signed that.
Did you just send us on an escort mission?
Yes.
Yes.
Terrible.
You're babysitting. Oh
you are babysitting. I had to jump out of it at it sort of as a meme because escort is one of the duties of a mouse guard. So this isn't because, you know, I'm trying to punish you or trying to do that. It's just in the book.
As long as the NPC walks fast enough that I don't have to keep running and stopping and running and stopping.
Or tries to run away and then has to reset before going forward.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, this mouse that we are retrieving, they are not joining the guard. They are just doing work in Lockhaven, right?
Yes, they are doing work in Lockhaven. He's joining as an apprentice smith, but he shows great potential, and the guard kind of want him there to help them out.
That'd be super cool.
But since he's not a mouse guard, and, you know, he's kind of a homebody, doesn't really have much in terms of survival, so he would probably be predator food the moment he stepped out of Copperwood.
Not if we have anything to say about that.
I hope.
All right.
But now we go into your beliefs, instincts, and goals. And I think we're going to start off with Forrest, since he has experience in this, so he can give everyone an example of what to do.
Oh, yes. So whenever... it's fun playing flawed characters like Quincy, because you get to give them very neat beliefs and instincts. For instance, Quincy's instinct is to use every favorable opportunity to brag about myself. And so the way that would work is your instinct can be used sort of as like a cue for you to sort of start your role play, or perhaps to work either for or against yourself. Because like one mouse could have an instinct like, well, I draw my sword at the first sign of trouble. That just like gives them like a nice, like tasteful flavor. Like this is what the character is about. But you can also imagine what sort of bad situations could start if they just whip out their sword at the first sign of trouble. But I have his belief, which is the next, probably most important core detail about your character in this game. Quincy's belief is that a good patrol leader has a single duty, and that is dedication to the reputation of the Mouse Guard. So the way, now this is sort of like a belief that could use some tweaking, but Quincy's number one priority, which is what I'm communicating to the other players and to the game master, is that he is seen as good in the Mouse Guard, and that the Mouse Guard is seen as good and that they're respected. So this will like be sort of like a reaction. So with every like mission that you get, you have to wonder, well, my belief is this. How is my belief going to influence what my character does during this mission? You just have to have a core ideal about what your character, you know, looks at the world because of their mouse stature. You could make it about predators. You could make it about a lot of things. And the goal is pretty simple. You set a goal for every mission, something specific that you know that you can accomplish by the end of the session, hopefully. And my goal is just to ensure our escort is eager to serve the guard in Lockhaven, that they are going to look forward to it. And that's really about it.
Okay. And I got all that written down in my notebook. That way I can reference it if I need to.
Oh boy.
Let's go with Jeremy.
All right. So my goal and my instinct I've got, and I'm trying to figure out Jeremy's belief. And I think I have it. So give me a second to figure out how to put it into words, right? Actually, that'll work. All right. So Jeremy's belief is that there is an opportunity for a good story anywhere. That some sort of there's always a circumstance that can be turned into a good tale. So he's going to keep an eye out for that and figure out and how to push those circumstances towards what is a good, exciting story. So his goal for this mission is to get a new story, either by experiencing one or by hearing one from someone else. So if it's really boring and there's just nothing going on, then he's going to prod people to tell him tales of their youth or their experiences or something along those lines. Probably to the point of being aggravating and annoying about it. But he wants to collect those stories. And his instinct, because he knows that there's an opportunity for good stories everywhere, is to charge into conflict. Whether that be with a predator or whether that be with an argument between people, so that he can get that story out of that conflict.
I kind of see him as like either a bard or, like in modern times, just a very aggressive reporter.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of exactly his stance on everything. Like, there's a story here, and I want to hear it, and I want to be able to tell the tale again later.
I really feel that's really dangerous too, because the guard doesn't have this. The stories are great, and if you become a hero, that's amazing. But there's just as many tragic tales, I imagine. I just love that belief. I love the direction this character is going.
He's going to be a lot of fun to play, I think. It's just, he's going to be one of those people that just is on his toes about everything all the time. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What about Ophelia? Belief.
Well, her belief is, even though she's tiny, she's a firecracker. She's little, but her belief is that anybody is capable of anything given the opportunity to prove it, and she is out to prove it. And she may not have the brawn, but she feels that she's got the brain, which is why she went into medicine. So she wants to prove that, her, that kind of fits into goal though, I guess. But she just believes that it doesn't matter how big or small you are, you're just as capable as the next mouse.
Okay.
One way you can look at goals and belief is the belief should be the springboard for your goal. So
Gotcha.
that's usually how I use it.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave it with the Shakespearean quote, though she be but little, she is fierce. And we'll just tie the rest of that into her goal. Her goal is she wants to earn respect and honor for going above and beyond and prove that, she can do it. And her medical skills, she thinks, are what'll get her there. As far as her instinct, I don't have the ability to have the book in front of me because my laptop is tiny. So, I don't really know what to put for my instinct.
I think maybe, and this is just a suggestion on my part, you say that she's like a firecracker, that she's like little, but she really wants to prove herself.
Yeah.
I figure you can tie that into her instinct by she takes any opportunity to volunteer to be the one to perform some sort of duty. Like, her hand will shoot up the instant the GM asks for a role.
It's like anybody but Ophelia.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That actually kind of works for her.
So she's always at the front of the line to volunteer.
And she's the shortest one there.
No. It's perfect and cute. She's a hard worker.
She tries to be.
Okay, so we got all of that down. Also, you guys have that on your character sheets as well to type in. That way you can keep track of your goals. But
Did we do HP Foxes?
We did
No,
not.
Did not.
I skipped HP Fox again.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel
No,
so bad. Last night I was calling him the wrong character the entire
All
night.
night. But
All
it's
night.
actually kind of fitting this time around because, Issa doesn't like to be in the spotlight. So, when her turn comes around, she's conveniently not there. I think it probably comes as no surprise to anyone that all three of these things for her kind of have to do with being a bit cowardly. Dog in the background. Her belief.
Run away.
Bork.
Jesus. Her belief is if you avoid trouble, trouble will always avoid you. Whether or not that's true is a different story, but that's her belief. Just kind of stay out of its sight and it'll pass you by. And that kind of, as Fora was saying, springboards into her goal, which is to stick to the assignment. Deviation from the assignment is deviation from safety. Again, whether or not that's true is a different story, but that all depends on Rojan. And her instinct is to hide at any sign of trouble and stay hidden until it passes. Doesn't mean it's always going to be successful because there isn't always a convenient hidey hole, but I think that could have some interesting implications in battle scenarios.
I think Issa and Jeremy are going to get along great.
She's going to hide and Jeremy's just going to jump right into battle.
Wait, get engaged in something and turn around. Where's Issa? She needs to be experiencing this.
I'll do it for her.
Meanwhile, she's off cowering behind Quincy.
Don't worry, I have enough magnificence to shower you, to hide you. I'll just go forward, and I feel like he just overshadows everyone. There's always a spotlight on Quincy, I feel like.
Yeah, I could just see Issa like hiding behind Quincy, that his cloak is covering her, and all you see are her feet and her tail poking out from underneath it.
Yep. Sounds about right.
All right. So you guys are at the end of the first leg of your mission when we open up tonight. As you can see the city limits of Copperwood in the distance, as a sense of ease washes over you at the thought of having a good meal and a comfortable bed waiting for you as you approach the great oak that houses the city. You've been on the road for 3 days now. After beforehand, you had left the city, or I'm sorry, the town of Ivydale, which you had made your way from Lockhaven, and so it took you 2 days to get from Lockhaven to Ivydale, and then another 3 days to get from Ivydale to Copperwood. And you are all feeling the wear of the adventure. You haven't really run into anything dangerous in the past couple days. The summer weather has been treating you kind. There haven't been any spontaneous brush fires or thunderstorms that have come up. There's been a severe lack of predators on the road. You've seen more mice traveling than you have anything you've had to combat. So for somebody like Jeremy, it's rather boring, but for somebody like Issa, it's a welcome sight. And we are going to open up with the four of you standing outside the great oak of was it Copperwood? I almost said Copperdale.
Copperdale was those are the runs, the shanty towns. we don't go there.
Why? Do you have stories about Copperdale? Is there reason that we don't go there?
All sorts of nasty sorts.
Oh, those are the best kind.
Oh no, they're the nasty sorts.
Exactly.
They're dirty and they're smelly, and not only that, they don't tip very well.
Oh, not the stories, the people, the mice.
People. Oh,
I thought you meant that there were nasty stories there. Those are the kind that are interesting.
I think in our spare time we can perhaps give you a walkthrough, a tour of Copperdale. But let's speak to the mayor first. You'll like the mayor. He's a good old family friend.
Oh, so you have some stories about him?
Well, I have some business transactions that he's made with my family.
Oh, those are very entertaining.
Oh no, I think the economics of the situation in Copperwood and the various, and he just begins to ramble off on.
Jeremy like yawns, like.
Oh yeah, just the economics of brewing, trading, all sorts of terribly nihilistic discussions.
Spooner, thank you for those bits, man.
Damn, Spooner.
Ooh, juicy.
Dropping a whole bunch of bits.
Going
Thank you for
hard
that.
here.
Nickeldale. But yes, I would like to lead my patrol into this fantastic, historic piece of the Mouse territories and see if we can find the mayor. I think we were supposed to go to the mayor first.
Yes, your mission was to go to the mayor and present him with a letter of introduction. So he knows that you are the ones who are going to be escorting Christopher back to Lockhaven.
I thought Quincy was introduction enough. Anyway. But no. I'll just, Quincy will sort of look over the three of you and sort of say, now, the letter of introduction just sort of refers to the patrol as a unit. Is there any particular flavors that you all would like me to introduce you as? Or do you prefer to introduce yourself, Issa? Would you like to?
Do I have to be introduced at all?
Well, you could... Can you be a bit more stoic? Maybe we can make you look like a bodyguard or something.
I don't think I like the sounds of that.
No, you just have to get the sword up right here, straighten your tail, and he like tries to show her how to do it.
And she's just like, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, Tenderpaw, can you give a demonstration, please?
And she just, the whole time they've been walking, she's been jump roping on her tail just out of sheer boredom.
That's right! You have a long tail!
I have a very long tail. And as soon as the attention comes to her, she drops her tail, runs to go right beside Quincy. So she is facing Issa, and she stands as proudly as she can. And she doesn't have a very impressive sword, but she's got a rapier, but she's just like, ha-ha!
It's good. It's good posture, and he's sort of gritting his teeth. He says, and he kicks your tail underneath the little burlap cape that you have, the blanket, and he's like, try to fold it under there when you do that.
Kind of reaches self-consciously behind her, just kind of like starts to tie it into a little belt.
And then he turns to, are you a guard mouse or a patrol guard too?
Issa?
No. Oh gosh. Jeremy? I only just met the characters. Jeremy, yes.
Jeremy?
He's a patrol guard.
Okay. Then he Quincy sort of like twirls his whiskers and he says, maybe you should be the front man for this. I mean, it's probably appropriate, seeing as I'm someone from Copperwood. It would be a bit presumptuous.
So he stands up as straight as he can, but you can see that he's not focused and he's running through just a story in his head. So he's a little bit like his shoulders are a little bit lopsided. He's just not holding himself right. But he's trying, but he's just distracted.
Ugh. How about this? You take the letter, and on my cue, you hand it to the mayor.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
You can do that?
Can I copy it down first?
No. No. He has to open it.
Oh, well.
That's the point. What do you think they have letter openers in their office for? They're to open letters.
And Jeremy will shrink back a little bit when Quincy gets a little bit flustered. He's like, all right, yeah, I can I can give this to him. I just thought it might be interesting.
It will be. This is the performance we're gonna make. And we're gonna make a valuable impression. Because that's the only fun we're gonna have. I don't think any of you have escorted the mice of Copperwood. They're very good prey. Let's just say that.
Oh, so something's going to chase him?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Finally.
And he doesn't know any better. I expect he won't.
Yeah, let's go turn this paper in then. The
Excellent.
sooner the paper, the sooner the prey. I mean, the escort.
Oh God.
Yeah, he just lets out this horrified gasp as he. Can we find the mayor's office?
I don't know.
Why do I have a feeling that Jeremy is just gonna lead this poor mouse into danger just so he can get a story?
You're probably not wrong.
I hear if you try a staring contest with a snake, you can win.
Oh, so the Copperwood mice are good at staring contests with snakes? That's interesting. Wait, aren't you from here? So you've done that before?
No, that's the sort of stupid thing they would believe.
Oh, okay.
So you can't say that to him.
Wait, so he doesn't stare at snakes? Oh, that's so much less interesting now.
Philia, could you dissuade, please, dissuade.
Just be careful, go.
Issa, dissuade him.
We're not gonna run into snakes, are we?
Well, you know, I can't promise anything. At the
Why
very
not?
least. Well, it's simply a fact of life. This is the mouse territories. We don't have a scent border for snakes. We have a scent border for wolves. We can handle snakes.
I can't. I don't want to.
I think Jeremy will like throw an arm over Issa's shoulder. Sure you will. It'll be a great fun. It'll be a great story. It'll be an experience that you'll remember
I don't want to do
forever.
this. I don't want to do this. No, please.
Issa, I'm just going to give you one job, okay? It's going to be easy. You're not even going to have to do anything terrible. All I need you to do, when we retrieve our fantastic new smith for Lockhaven, I need you to hold his hand. And I need you to not let go until we get to Lockhaven.
I think I can do that. That sounds easy.
I know, right? It's absolutely See, you have a role to fill here. Don't look down on yourself like that.
Yeah, I can do that. No problem.
And
Excellent.
She starts impatiently dancing around Quincy. It's like, what do I get to do?
You are my scout. Please ensure that we do not have any rabble in front of us as we walk these fabled streets.
I'm on it! And she starts running.
She's running. Oh no, oh dear.
I think Jeremy probably turns to Issa and he has his book and his quill out and he says, I'm writing it down. Issa, the hand holder. That's your title now. You have a title. That means you're important.
I don't want to be important.
But you've got a title. You have to be.
But important people get lots of jobs, don't they? I don't want lots of jobs.
No, you only have one job. You're a hand holder. That's your title. That's your job.
If you say so.
Oh,
he said so. But
for this mission, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other opportunities to hold more than hands.
More than hands?
Well, sure. You could. Well, what weapon do you have, Issa, if any?
She kind of shyly pulls out her sewing needle.
You see, that can be used. Do you use it recreationally, or?
I sometimes stick it in the ground and lean up against it when I sit down.
Now, see, you already did half of what a truly impressive guards mice can do. And you're a patrol guard, so that means you can do the other half. You could stick that end, instead of into the ground, into a snake.
Oh, no. I don't want to do that.
I'm not saying you have to, but you just have to do the hand holding this time until we get to Lockhaven. See, we're gonna work our way up to Snake. Okay.
I don't want to see a snake.
We're not gonna see a snake. We're just going to handhold. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. She's getting away. Ophelia, we need a proximity. Get back into the radius.
Kind of stops and just like backs up a couple steps. That's good?
It's good. Now you walk with purpose. Tuck that tail in, please.
Starts tying her tail like it's just short enough that it keeps coming undone, but she keeps tying it around her waist.
Yeah.
Crying, bless her little heart.
Oh, Quincy, why?
I'm
Anyway.
like watching this, and it's like Quincy's trying to herd cats.
Not possible. It's not. Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh. Oh.
Jeremy's trying to be helpful. He's trying to encourage Issa. It's just going about it the wrong way.
So, after the plan is made on how you're going to enter the town, Ophelia, since you are in front, you walk in through the oak, and you begin to walk down this large, like, spiral staircase. And as you're going down, you feel that it's getting a little bit warmer as you start to hear hammers and whatnot from being worked from the metalsmiths. And like your eyes soon catch mining carts coming out from behind a waterfall that are just filled with copper ore.
Okay, well, since I'm supposed to be scouting, I'm going to duck behind this waterfall and just peek around the water and just... I'm scouting!
Okay, so when you duck behind this waterfall and you look behind it, you see that there is another path that goes deeper down into the ground, and the echoing of pickaxes striking solid rock seem to come out from it. You can see the tracks lined up with the mining carts, as like even with you know that this is some form of mouse mine.
Okay, so I don't think I'm too interested in that one because we're not here for a miner mouse. We're here for a forger mouse. I think I wasn't paying attention. So
we need to go probably deeper into town to find the mayor. So we need to find like we need to find the. I'm trying to find like a nice way to say it. The wealthy, the
Ritzy?
better off. Yeah, the Quincy people.
The Quincy people.
Yeah, Ophelia.
Wait, there's more of you?
Oh, there's dozens. I have several brothers and sisters and cousins.
Jeremy sits down and like pulls out his quill and pen. Tell me about them.
Well, they're all alive.
Quincy family tree alive. Okay.
Yes. And now here's the clever thing. Here's the clever thing. Grandpappy, he is the patriarch. Now nobody questions Grandpappy.
How do you spell patriarch?
Patriarch, Patriarch.
Got it, with a K on the end.
If you now try to make that K not that, make it a CH.
Okay, got it.
Be careful with that ink. We have to keep following Ophelia. She's going to wander off.
Oh, should we do this later then?
We should probably do this later.
Oh, okay.
Now, my third cousin is interesting because she and he...
Wait, I thought we were doing this later.
Oh, you can retain this
now,
memory.
later, now?
Oh, yes, just keep... Listen to me now.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
He gets the quill and ink back out.
I continue telling him as we follow Philia.
All right.
And Jeremy, like, meanwhile, just has this big toothy grin on his face the whole time, and his sharp teeth are just kind of sticking out as he's just writing all this down, super enthralled by this, because if nothing else, these are characters for stories later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going through the character sheet here because since Ophelia doesn't really know her way around Copperwood.
I'm just scouting.
Yeah.
It's-
You have a scout ability, so yeah.
Yes, I do.
I want to see if Ophelia can find the other Quincy's.
Oh no!
Okay, here we go.
Look for purple.
Okay, so I just click on it and it does the thing? How do I do this?
Yeah, if you click on it and it should do the thing. I think that's what happens.
Nothing happened.
Do we need to
Oh,
manually?
let me.
roll dice?
Yes, let me actually do something for you guys. So
Oh.
what
Is there
you
a
would
macro?
have to do, it's a macro.
Oh,
So
okay.
it would be a D6 greater than 4. So you would have to type. Oopsie poopsie. You would have to type. Now, here's the trick. You need to put the slash in front of the R, and then you put a number in front of the D6. And that'll tell us immediately how many successes you get.
And the number should be how many points you have in that skill.
Indeed. And yeah, so this is a good way to just sort of start letting you guys roll and see what happens after. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So, for Ophelia, what is your scout?
2.
Two.
It's
Okay. What's the obstacle?
The obstacle's 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, just put 2d6.
Just 2d6? No
2d6.
greater than? Okay.
Yeah, just do 2d6.
How much?
All right, looks like you got 2 successes.
All right, so with the 2 successes, Ophelia is easily able to lead the rest of the group into a better part of town, where the more higher class mice of Copperwood are, and you can see that there is even a change in the decor and setting of the town. A lot of the homes are better decorated and more well kept. Even the forges that are in this area seem to have I wouldn't say shining anvils, but they are definitely something that is made of a higher quality metal.
Is any of the stuff in the area, like, is it older, like, well kept, passed down through, like, old money kind of?
Yeah,
Okay.
There are things in this area that definitely show that it has come from old money. A lot of the placards that you'll see on the entrances to family homes seem to have a more ancient design to them.
I think Jeremy will slow his pace and go, ooh, this is old stuff. I bet there's lots of stories here. I bet these people have been through so much. Can I go interview them?
You're interviewing one now. Keep up.
Okay. That's right. You're one of, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And Jeremy, you as you catch up to Quincy, you hear the sound of music and merriment coming from one of the smaller buildings, as you see a couple mice walking in and out.
Does this sound like tavern or music?
It's like a tavern style music, like a small gathering hall.
Hey, that sounds like home, and he'll immediately like rush off, because if it's a tavern and if it's people having merriment, there's stories there. So he's gonna go see what's going on, what's being celebrated, because if something's being celebrated, there's a story about why it's being celebrated.
What? Okay.
I'll just be a minute.
Ophelia! Get him!
And she beelines it, and since it's probably about as high as she can reach, she's going to try and tackle him at the waist.
Oh. Okay.
I sort of scoot behind Isabel
It's like, oh,
with
God.
wide eyes, like, whoa.
And Issa's just standing there, like, completely shocked.
I think this is gonna just be an independent roll because Jeremy wouldn't expect it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
on
fine.
the back.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and give me a fighter roll. See if Issa lands this flying tackle.
You
What's
can
your
go
fighter?
Or fighters 2.
Ah!
Okay, hang on. So it's same like what I did before?
Yep.
Do
Same one.
the greater than 4 at the end of it.
Yep.
Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
2 successes. So you just like run and you do this. You see Ophelia's tiny body just launch into the air, almost like she's taking a flying squirrel stance as she hits Jeremy in the back and wraps her little arms around him and drags him to the ground.
Is there a story? Is there another story somewhere? Did you see something?
Oh God! Oh no! Oh God! Oh no!
Are we gonna fight something? Is that what this is? Did you need my attention?
I pick both of you up by your cloaks if I can.
Yeah, you notice that these antics have caught the eyes of a couple of patrons walking out of the tavern, and they give like a little chuckle as they walk by you.
Oh, Quincy leans down into your ear, Jeremy, and he says, "You will stay in formation while we walk these streets."
Jeremy lowers his head a little bit. He's like, "All right, you're right. I'm a patrol mouse. I can do this. The stories will be there later.
We are Mouse
Yes.
Guard. We are not fools. We are noble and just. Philia, that was very good, but that is not behavior for here. It is not. But thank you for catching him. Issa, you're doing great."
And she's just kind of standing there, looking side to side, kind of panicky. Now that people have kind of started looking their way, she doesn't want people to look their way.
Now stand up, and we walk very appropriately to the mayor's office. They're laughing at us.
All right, I think this is a good place to take our first break.
Okay. You guys that are watching at home, hopefully you're enjoying this. I'm having a blast. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break and just get up and get drinks and all that fun stuff. And so we will be back momentarily. Please don't go anywhere. Hang out, enjoy the music, and we'll be back shortly. Thanks. All right, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you welcome back from the break.
I got an evil idea.
Oh boy!
Just from what you guys are doing and seeing Quincy's reaction. So we're gonna like it's not gonna. I don't think it'll make an appearance tonight, but it's an idea.
Before, was that a carrot? Just okay. Just wanted to make sure what I saw.
Angrily took a bite out of a carrot.
No, this is in character. It has to be.
Okay.
I just have a feeling that Quincy's just gonna be like pulling his fur out by the end of tonight.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I can imagine it.
So when Quincy starts like I don't want to say talking down to Jeremy, but once he starts having words with him, Philia catches a glimpse inside of the tavern. Just for a moment as the door swings open, and you can see inside that there are a couple mice playing instruments, and there are more of them dancing around in the center of the room, while there are a couple jugglers and whatnot in the back. And just for a brief second, you catch a glimpse of a mouse in this like very beautiful looking white like dress, and it clicks into your mind that this is a wedding celebration that Jeremy almost crashed.
And suddenly she just, both her ears are just like, boing! And she's like, oh, Jeremy? She's got that look on her face like, I'm awesome, you suck.
What?
I'll tell you later.
Is there a fight going on in there? Did I miss that?
We're not fighting.
Oh,
No.
you're right. I'm a mouse guard. Patrol mouse. Patrol guard. I can do
Please
this.
don't fight the wedding party.
I can do this. I will stay focused.
Yeah.
Taking the letter to the mayor. I got this. You guys are behind me, right?
I don't think there's anything in the book for stats for a wedding party for you to fight.
I mean, you'd be surprised the NPCs they have in that book.
Yeah, I saw them.
Bachelor, aristocrat, maybe.
Oh god, I can just see
Drunk
poor
partygoers.
poor Issa going toe to toe with a disgruntled flower girl. Just pelting her with flowers.
But the flowers are like bigger than you.
Right?
So once Quincy is able to get everyone back in formation, you guys start marching up there. It's only about a couple more minutes before you come to the door of the mayor's home, and you can see that inside the candles have already been lit, and you can hear his jolly laughter from behind.
Cat in the trash can. Be right back.
Yep.
That's the next thing we're fighting after we get done with this escort is a cat in a trash can.
A cat in a trash can, just
So
random.
it's a raccoon?
It's trash pandas.
Cat in a trash can. I mean, it's not the worst cat-related AFK that I've heard.
Oh, I've heard. So cats are wonderful for streams. Anyway.
But before the cat got into the trash can, I was saying that you can hear the mayor's jolly laughter coming from inside of his home.
He's having a good time. This is great. Let's go introduce ourselves.
Is Quincy going up and knocking on the door, or is he like waiting for me to kind of lead that procession since I have the letter?
It's true. I think he will lead.
Okay.
And is there? It's just the door. No secretary or anything like that.
No secretary or anything. It's later on in the evening, by the time you guys get here. So everyone's has either turned in for like their nightly meals, or they're just, you know, relaxing from a hard day's work.
True. The hardest of all is the being mayor. So I'll lightly rap on the door.
Okay. It takes there are a couple seconds, and then the door is open. You are greeted by a more slender-looking mouse, like in his later years, almost completely white. But he smiles at you, and he like beckons you to come in, and you know him as the mayor's butler. Like his eyes just shine when he sees you, and he's like, Master Quincy, as he like reaches out for a hug.
Oh, Mayor's butler. It's always good to see you. I give him a warm hug. I'm sure I know his name. Maybe I do.
His name is Jarvis.
Ah, Jarvis. Well, it's good to see you. My goodness.
Look at you.
Look at you.
So grown. Last time I saw you, you were a wee lad off to your training in the Mouse Guard, and now look at you.
Oh.
And who are these behind you? As he peeked his head over the shoulder and looks at the other three mice.
These are my patrol. I'm unfortunately not here merely for the pleasure of your company. We have a mission to accomplish.
And Ophelia assumes her practice stance with the tail tucked and everything.
Yes, it's a noble time for the territories currently, and Brookhaven must be made nobler. We have a letter that will certainly explain everything. Where is the mayor?
Oh, he is in his common room at the moment. Please come on in. He will be glad to see you.
Oh, most certainly. But please, is there any way to delay? It's just been so long since we've had each other's company.
It's like, yes, there is. If you don't feel there is a rush, there is no need to rush introductions.
Oh, I'd prefer you to be there for our introduction. And we'd also like to perform it just once. It's very well rehearsed.
Well, he says, like, very visually starting to panic at very well rehearsed. Like, I don't remember doing this.
When you guys walk into this house, you can tell that it is everything that old money would reflect. Like there are artifacts, and like just the whole design of the house comes from a very sophisticated history.
So if Quincy turns around and looks at Jeremy, he can see that Jeremy is struggling not to like get out his quill and book and begin like writing down descriptions of stuff in the house to take note for later stories or something.
Are we being led to the common room?
Yes, you are currently being walked through, and you can see just all these old family heirlooms on display. And everything seems to be calling out to Jeremy.
I will lean forward, and Quincy will once again say, "You can look, but no touching."
I want to write. Can I write?
After the presentation. The letter! The letter!
Oh, that's right. The letter. And he probably says that a little too loud.
As you hear a small chuckle coming from Jarvis.
Didn't hear that. I'm just going to pretend he didn't.
As you hear him say, youth.
It's just this uncomfortable.
He leads you towards the common room, and just from being familiar with you, he looks back at you, making sure that you are ready for the introduction before he opens the doors.
Everybody, deep breath. Hold it.
I don't know how long I can hold it.
Hold it.
Why are we holding it?
Release. We are ready. to have his audience.
And he opens the door and leads you in, and before he can even get a word out, the mayor looks up from his desk and just stands up, throwing his arms, his chair actually tipping over in his excitement as he comes like stampeding towards you with his arms like open. And the mayor is a very portly gentleman, again along in his ears, but he's still very well dressed. It just like it looks like he's enjoyed the finer things in life for a while. And without warning, he just embraces Quincy in like a bear hug.
Mm-hmm. And Quincy does the whole rigmarole. Oh my goodness! It's very fine to see you. Oh, hold on, we have to. It's tradition, you know. And I try to pry myself off, and very, very gently do the little like.
He laughs. He's like, yes, tradition. It's just been so long, my boy. How are you? Have you been eating enough?
Oh, I don't have time to eat. I have adventures to create, mice to save, and, you know, the whole rigmarole.
He's like, yes, but even a glorious hero must enjoy a meal every now and then.
Since we are on business, I hope you won't mind if we do have some of your hospitality.
Of course. My door is always welcome to you and your... He looks over.
My patrol.
Ah, patrol.
Yes.
Oh, guard captain, I see.
Oh, if only. Guard captains are, as Jarvis has said, youth. I still have it within me.
Well,
One day I may shake it to adopt such a fantastic figure such as yourself.
Please, come in. Have a seat at my table.
I invite all of you to sit down. And I gesture to each seat that you were supposed to sit at. I ensure that Philia is sitting next to Quincy.
I think Jeremy, before he takes his seat, because he's focused on this letter and making sure that he gets it right, he's going to present it to the mayor and like kind of hold it up and like almost bow a little bit, so that the mayor like can grab it.
Oh, that's just it's something from the matriarch of Lockhaven. It's business. And as you know, I abhor business.
As he takes the letter from Jeremy, and he actually pats him on the head and gives him a smile. He's like, sort of reminds me of you, Quincy. As like he turns and like he hastily opens the letter as you mentioned that it's from the matriarch, and he reads over. He's like, so you are the ones who are going to be escorting young Christopher.
Yes. How old is he again?
Let's see.
16. His
16th birthday was last week.
Is this true? I feel as old as Jarvis.
He gives a lot.
Philia look at you like, I'm gonna fight you.
It's just you see them when they're this high. 16, my goodness. And talented at that.
Yes, it seems that the youth of today is quickly surpassing where we were in our younger years.
Well, I'm sure he'll service Lockhaven well. I'm sure he's ecstatic. Has he been informed about the date of when we're leaving?
Yes. He and his family have been preparing for a while, awaiting the escorts to show up to take him to Lockhaven. I mean, I believe they may be a little surprised that a celebrity such as yourself is the one who is taking him to meet his new destiny.
Well, you have to be considering I want to protect him
honestly.
I feel
He's-
he is in no finer hands.
Our families are close,
Well,
and
enough of the business for now. Let us eat.
let us eat. And I quickly lean over to Jeremy and I say, when he compared me to you, was that good? That was good, yes.
I think it's fine. I like me a lot.
I'm glad that
I like.
I'm good for you. I suppose that's a quality we do share. It must have been good.
Of course, of course.
Of course.
Now, can I go look at the stuff that I saw on the way in? Or
You have the luxury now that we've been dismissed from such things. Aren't you hungry?
yeah, but stuff, stories.
And I lean forward, and Quincy says, he has offered you food. If you reject it, it will be taken as a slight.
Don't you want to hear the story of how they amassed the wealth to be able to present such a beautiful feast, Jeremy? I'm trying to placate to his
You could see him debating in his head, like going back and forth, like, I could write my own stuff, I could hear his stories, I could write my own stuff, I could hear stories. All right, if he'll tell us a story while we eat, then I'll eat. I'm sure he's a mayor. He's got stories about riots and fires and snakes, I'm sure.
How's that trades deal with the walnut pecks?
Still underway. We keep hitting walls. You know how business is.
Well, you know how those people in Barkstone say walls were meant for crashing, not standing.
Yes, but we are a more dignified people. We do not crash.
Unless you know all that stuff. I try to remain.
It's like the civilized, like, small talk.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
I am like zeroing in, watching Quincy's hand. I'm waiting for that pinky to just go. Like I'm just waiting for it to happen. Like I'm like putting money on that pinky.
And
I'm praying that Jarvis doesn't trip over your tail.
more like food is brought out and spread onto the table, and wine is provided for Quincy and the mayor, and he looks over at the others and kind of like signals to Quincy as if asking if it's okay if his patrol partakes in the wine.
Oh, everyone but the Tenderpaw, you understand.
Her ears just go. What's wrong with me?
Yes. You know, he looks over to Ophelia. He's like, there is nothing wrong with you, my dear. It's just this is not meant for someone as young as you.
And you don't have your cape yet.
Well, I certainly didn't say she couldn't have at least a taste.
No.
That's what Grandpappy used to do, especially when I was a little bit younger, just to allow us to grow into the flavor of such activities.
Yes. So a little bit is poured for Ophelia, and then she's given like another sort of like goblet that has like a sparkling juice in it.
After all, our main mission in Copperwood is done. I think we've earned some relaxation.
Yes. We will meet young Christopher and his family tomorrow. Tonight, you stay here as my guests. I can't see how the ground during your travels is any comfortable. You must miss a bed.
And Quincy's little noble exterior breaks a bit. And he's sort of like, yes, it would be lovely to be under sheets and have pillows again.
He's like, you will have your own rooms tonight. See, he looks over to Ophelia and she's like,
oh no.
My, you are a quiet one. Not Ophelia, I'm sorry, Issa.
I was gonna say.
So
Ah,
Philia
you
is
thought you
not
dodged.
quiet.
I'm confusing Fox with everybody else.
So
He's,
I kind
he's
of
that good.
yeah, just in character all the time. I kind of pictured Issa very visibly excusing herself from the conversation, like the moment they sat down at the table, and she's just kind of been occupying her time by pulling some flowers and stuff out of her bag and weaving their stems together and just kind of fidgeting to herself with no real interest in what they're talking about.
Does she have any interest in the food in front of her?
She takes a small bite now and then, but she's not really acknowledging anything that's happening around her.
All right. And when the mayor calls out to Issa and he notices that she doesn't reply, he looks over to Quincy and like makes a hand gesture as like asking if she's mute.
He quickly gives this like little signal, like, "Oh no, you see, she's weaving. She's rather lowborn. I hear from Wolf Point, perhaps."
Ah. How noble of you to take her under your wing.
Some mice act better in the East on their instincts rather than the gumption that we possess.
Yes. So what does she weave?
She does not like to share her works. They're very private.
Ah, the secluded artist.
Yes, those types. Rougher than our own, and you can't buy their artwork with money. It's honey or roasted crab apples, something like that.
But when she's dead, she'll be famous. That's how it works, right?
Something about her ancient spirit.
Hey, Issa. Issa.
What? Huh?
What are you doing?
I'm weaving. What are you doing?
Trying to figure out what you're doing. The mayor, he asked you what you were doing.
Did he? I didn't hear him.
You didn't answer. That's rude.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry.
You should
They've
answer.
What should I do?
They've bonded so much. He's been such a
Answer.
good tutor for her.
Answer.
What was the question?
What are you doing?
I'm weaving.
Tell him that.
Did he want to know? Did he want to? She just kind of throws her flower crown onto the table, like right in the middle of the table.
Yes, he wants to know it. Talk to him. It's rude.
She's like with wide eyes. She points to it and she's like, I was weaving.
He smiles, finally hearing Issa's response to his question, and he gives like a very like parental smile towards you, and he's like, "That is beautiful. Do you do this often?"
As much as I can.
Do you maybe sell those?
Oh, no. You can have one, though, if you want one. I'll make one just for you.
My, such a kind and generous creature. I would be honored.
And she takes her bag and she just kind of turns it upside down and shakes it onto the table. And all these old flowers and petals and broken stems and stuff fall out. And she starts picking through it, pulling them out, and starts getting to work on one.
I watch and I quickly sort of speak up.
It's very refreshing to see a craft not as bold or sharp as those in Copperwood. I admire your art, Issa. Perhaps I could be granted one as well for one of my younger cousins.
I can make one for your cousin and for you. You can wear it on our way back too.
Oh, would that be rather dashing? Thank you.
As the mayor doesn't really seem to mind that the flowers have been poured over the table. You notice that he is a little more calm than you remember him, as it's like he's getting on in old age. He kind of has more tolerance for the younger generations, and sometimes he knows that they do these odd things, especially if they are not from a civilized area such as you and himself.
Is
So
he actually,
what's
I
that?
was wondering, does he have did he ever get married?
He did not.
Well, he didn't even get married while I was gone?
No, he did not. He is married to the city.
Not anymore. I'm just joking.
You're divorced. You're fired. I'm the new mayor.
I think while the whole thing with Issa dumping flowers out onto the table has gone on, Jeremy has picked up his his pen and quill. No, his quill and paper. There we go. That's the thing.
One of those.
Some combination of something
That
to write
wine.
on
That
and
wine.
writing utensil.
He just starts writing on the tablecloth.
And he walks over to the mayor and he looks up at him, and there's this just gleam in his eye as he's been in this room with all this old stuff that he's sure there are stories about. And he looks at the mayor and he's just, so tell me about all this stuff.
Jeremy catches the mayor in mid sip, and he kind of hiccups a bit, as like he wasn't expecting somebody to be on his side, but he gives you a warm smile. He's like, well, that is a very broad question, my boy. There is much stuff in this room.
There is, and it's all interesting, and I want to know everything about all of it.
He laughs and he's like, for me to do that, I would have to extend my life by numerous years, and you would be well into your old age by the time I finished my tale.
Well, we've got some wine. Would that help? I can pour you another glass, and he goes and picks up the mayor's glass and like tries to search around for the flagon or pitcher of wine.
Takes her tiny little thing of wine. He's like, take a man.
All right, and you pour him a glass, and he smiles thankfully for it. He's like, how about this? You meet with me after dinner, and after everyone is settled in, and I will give you a story of one item.
Do I get to pick which one?
Yes.
Deal. And he'll immediately start, he'll leave the table and start going around the room trying to look at each item and decide which one he wants the story about.
How did he do that?
Huh?
No, Quincy.
Quincy's like freaking out, like, what the hell?
Quincy wanted that. Aww.
He stole Quincy's thunder.
I sort of curl a finger at Jarvis, and I'm like,
How dessert is nearing, yes.
Indeed.
Make it fester.
As you will. As he hops off. Not really hops off, but he walks out at a hurried pace. And as Jarvis walks out, the mayor's eyes turn to the youngest at the table. It's like, is this your ward? She seems to be glued to the hip.
Such is the way of these tender paws that the guard employs. Luckily, they're well worn in these crude duties that we do before they take on the tender paw cloak, as you can see. They will earn a colored one.
Hers is still a bag. You can hear it from across the room.
I'm about to stuff you in it. You can see her fur bristle down her spine, I'm gonna fight you.
Still fierce, which is what we need in the wilds, between the towns.
HP Fox.
Issa vanishes.
Couldn't handle the violent outburst.
Hang on, folks. We got HP Fox's net, I'm going to assume, dropped him, which threw all the cameras off. So I'm sure that I'll be adjusting that here in a moment. Do we want to just take a quick break while HP Fox is going?
Let's do a quick break as he's doing that.
All right. So we will be back here in a few moments, hopefully not too long, as we wait for HP Fox to come back up. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the antics. But we'll be right back. Thanks. All right, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. And HP Fox is back.
I have unbroken everything
Hopefully.
Temporarily.
You
So
have
everybody's in the wrong spots.
You
though.
have everything.
Hang on. Cams are still all screwy because Zoom doesn't like to keep people in places. So HP Fox is now hybrid magpie, and everybody's in just the absolute wrong spot. So let me fix this. Real quick.
to be ginger.
That is.
You know, the only people who say that are the people who aren't ginger.
That's 4.
I was ginger once. Then my roots came back.
I could wear an orange bow.
There we go. And the other one's going to be wrong too, so let me just go ahead and fix this real quick too. That is not hybrid magpie, that's HP Fox.
Why is my camera always so zoomed in?
I don't know. I blame
What do you do to the capture? Like, I am like zoomed out maximum on my camera, and like my face is just dead on the camera.
You're just super close to your camera, I think is what it is.
It's just like all of a sudden I turn into max
that one's
headroom
right.
and it's just like I'm right there.
That one's
Also, I
right.
think it's got to do with the fact that he's got a crop where your name
Yeah.
sits in the front where your jaw is.
Oh, you can fix that by renaming yourself to period.
I think it's just you're super close to your camera compared to everybody else. I think is what it is. So it's a matter
that's
of
one
trying to
thing
get
I
it
need
to
to
fit
do.
into the frame properly and keep it within your camera.
Here,
So
I'll zoom myself out a little bit more.
that's fine. I'm not messing with it anymore. We're done. All right, so welcome back from the quick break. HP Fox broke everything, but he fixed it now.
Yes.
So I think we're going to continue on with the mayor's dinner.
The mayor's dinner. So the dessert comes out, and it was requested during the break that it would be strawberry rhubarb pie. And each of you is given a very large slice of pie.
Excellent.
But if I eat, do I have to eat this? If I eat it all, I may get tired, and then I won't hear the story.
Here, I can take it.
He looks down. He's like, he cuts the like tip of it off so that he at least gets a taste of it, and then gives the rest to
Quincy. Okay.
Ophelia is like taking a little fingerful and like trying color swatches on her cape to see what color would look best on her.
She's like doing color sampling.
Yeah.
Ophelia's like the 2-year-old at like a restaurant just finger painting with her food.
No, it is literally Ophelia's Technicolor dream coat, okay?
Okay.
Oh my god.
She's a good scout, but bad at camouflage.
Oh my god. This is beautiful. Quincy just shoveling in.
Oh yeah, Quincy feeding his sweet tooth and Ophelia painting on herself. What is Issa doing while Jeremy is wandering around the mayor's room?
She loves treats, so the moment she heard pie was coming out, she just kind of shoved all her flowers to the side and just waited for it and started digging in once it was in front of her.
Okay. So everyone is eating their dessert, save for Jeremy, who is wandering around the room. And Jeremy, as you are walking around the room, you notice one thing that catches your eye amongst everything else, and that is a long sword that has been bronzed and is now laid upon like the mantle of a fireplace.
All right. Are there details that he can see of it? Like any details of it other than it's a bronze longsword?
It's obviously been used in battle. There are nicks and dents in the blade.
Okay. At that point, he'll turn around and he'll practically like he's trying to maintain his composure, but he's also basically running back to the table, and he's going. So you're not done with your dessert. When you are. I have it. I know what I want to hear the story about. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to write it down.
Let's see here. He nods like, you know what? I like your enthusiasm.
Me too.
Why not enlighten all of you with a tale?
And Jeremy's eyes light up like wasn't sure they could get bigger after seeing the sword, but they somehow do. And he immediately like goes and grabs his chair from wherever it was and drags it like on the back legs right next to the mayor. And he sets it down and he scampers up into the chair and he like opens the book down on the table, like pushing plates out of the way, being completely like just making sure there's room, not caring about anything. And he gets his quill out and he just looks super attentive. His whiskers twitching, and his ears just like up and perked, and he's just like ready to take down every word that the mayor says.
And you told him that you wanted to know about the sword.
No.
Oh,
I just said I found the object. I didn't tell him what it was.
He's like, so what object would you like to hear the tale of?
That's right. It's and he points with his like the end of his quill towards the fireplace. The sword, the bronze sword. It's clearly been used, and there's obviously so much history there, and I need to know everything about it.
Wouldn't you rather know about the fireplace? It's a rather excellent and long-standing oak
It's
fireplace.
it's brick,
No.
and it holds fire. I've got that story.
He goes, that sword. That is one of my most favorite possessions. It belonged to my great-great-great-grandfather, Redmond.
Is that 3 greats?
3 greats.
Okay.
Redmond was much like you and your companions, a member of the Mouse Guard. He was, and still is, I believe, hailed as a great hero, leading the Mouse Guard to victory in one of the most violent weasel counter invasions in our history.
Heroes are good. Weasels, got it. Weasels are terrifying, but move on.
He himself cut down, some may say, 200 weasels with that blade.
200? Wow. 200. Wow.
200. By the time that he was done, they called him the Crimson Tornado, with the way that he moved amongst the battlefield and the way with as much weasel blood had covered his fur.
What's a tornado?
It's
like a typhoon.
What's
But with wind.
what?
It's like a hurricane.
When
Oh.
you take the bath and it goes swish down, we'll imagine that wind and bigger.
Okay, got it. Hurricane, got it. Crimson hurricane.
I like how he knew what a hurricane was.
Oh, tornado. Whoops. That was the player completely screwing that up, but Jeremy probably did too, to be honest.
Mouse-nado.
Mouse-nado. Afterwards, he unfortunately had succumbed to the most cowardly attack of them all. A poison arrow from an unknown assailant.
Oh no. That's terrible.
While he may have won the day, he paid for it with his life.
And Jeremy taps his quill on his chin for a second. Do you know what kind of poison it was? I mean, details.
If I remember correctly, it was from an adder.
Adder poison. Snakes?
Yes, snakes.
And you could see Jeremy dramatically draws a large question mark beside where adder poison is written. Okay, what else? Was that the only time the sword was used?
Oh no, he carried that sword with him all throughout his career. That is just what that blade is most famously known for. But it had seen him safely through numerous other missions.
Does it have a name?
No. He refused to give it a name.
The Legend of the Unnamed Blade. And he underlines it and writes it at the top of the page.
You know, I'd really rather you perhaps focus on the mouse who wielded such a profound weapon rather than the artifact itself.
The unnamed blade. I like it.
Me too.
Gives a sort of mysterious feel to it.
I thought so too.
You know, perhaps I could set you up with one of my second cousins who could engrave it on the blade, perhaps, or the hilt.
But then wouldn't it be named as the Unnamed Blade?
Ophelia just walks by, her face covered in strawberry rhubarb because she just ate the rest of it. It's like, someone found a conundrum.
It's a fork, please. I clean her up. You don't eat like this in Lockhaven. Why?
We don't have pie in Lockhaven.
That's true. We don't have pie in Lockhaven, do we?
Well, now we know why.
Ophelia is the exact reason we don't actually have pie in Lockhaven.
Wow.
There's a story that Jeremy has scribbled down somewhere about an incident with like some peach cobbler. And they're just like, yep, no more pie.
Weird pinkish stain on the edge of her cloak.
Man. Wow.
She has to have the perfect shade. She's got to know.
He looks around at the four young mice or the three young mice in front of him, and he's like, I believe that it may be time for you to be shown your room.
Don't do that. Oh, okay.
And maybe you would wish to get cleaned up before you retire for the nights. I believe Quincy and I have some catching up to do.
Jeremy looks down at the like ink stains on his paws and he goes, no, these are permanent now. They don't come off.
Ah, a seasoned writer.
Well, I just spill the ink a lot.
As most do.
Hello, mouse guard mice are warriors. Some can find their callings as scribes, perhaps.
I have heard that words are mightier than snake teeth, but that doesn't have a good ring to it.
Work on that one.
I'm going to keep working on it.
Well, off you go then.
And Jeremy runs back to the table and grabs his book, and like you can see him holding it open with the page where he wrote down, like blowing on it to get the ink to dry as he's just walking out of the room with it.
And Ophelia is going to go find her room, but she's rather ungraceful, using the tip of her tail to kind of pick her teeth.
Quincy is just like in his chair, and then he very quickly does go, "Good night, Isabel."
So Issa's gonna stuff all her flowers and stuff into her bag, but before she leaves, she's going to walk up to the mayor, kind of like stand on her tippy toes, and place a flower crown on his head, and just kind of bop him on the nose with a smile and scurry off.
And when you do, he at first gives you a surprised look, but then after noticing what you've done, he gives you a polite smile. As he doesn't even move to take it off. He's just wearing it as you begin to leave the room.
He's so sweet.
And as Issa leaves, the door is shut behind her. And the mayor like grins over at Quincy. Like, so how are you enjoying your new group?
Well, I've only been through, gracious, not long since they're new. And I'm new at calling the shots. I worked hard to get this position as patrol leader. My old patrol is currently without me, so I worry about them constantly, you understand. But I'm hampered.
And he's sort of like, "Oh wait, that's right. The letter was Guard Captain Arabelle, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sort of like note back to the letter and say, "I've had a... Well, you know what happens when you have a competitor."
All too well.
My aspirations are hindered at the moment. I've hit a ceiling.
Does this ceiling have a name?
And a rank.
Superior officer?
It's something I have never been challenged with before. I can tackle the shrewdest of merchants. I can weave my way through the most extravagant parties. And he sort of thinks better of himself and says, I am unfamiliar with this military life?
Well, that is because you come from a class higher than the military. You are more refined. While you are doing a great service to our lands and for our people, sometimes those in the military life lack the refinement that we do. While you've been able to dance circles around merchants and partygoers alike, the disciplines in the military, especially in the Mouse Guard, are foreign to people like us. Though I have known you since you were a boy and have always known that you will aspire to greatness and that you are a natural born leader. So while you say you have hit a ceiling, I feel you are in your true calling right now. And while these youngsters that you have under your wing are a little wild, I feel that they can learn from your experiences and how to better handle themselves.
If this is what you would like to see from me, I will no doubt serve that purpose as readily as I can. Will not be shy about my respect for you, more so than Grandpappy.
He nods his head, like, and for this ceiling that you're going against, do not let them keep you down. You are not of a stock that is meant to be kept down. Whatever obstacle they may throw in your path, dance around it like you dance at a party.
What will you do with all of this?
Continue what I can do here to serve our people, to make sure that Copperwood still flourishes as one of the main exporters of Lockhaven and the rest of the territory's iron and copper.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant, what will you do?
Oh, when that time comes?
I wish, like so many others in my family that I've seen pass in time, in tragedy. Now I am always roaming. I'm never in one place. It'll be long before word gets to me when you have passed.
He gets a very fatherly expression on his face, and he walks over to you and he places a hand on your shoulder. He's like, my boy, I have always thought of you as a son. The pride I feel right now of seeing you in your cloak and leading these fine youngsters into their maturity gives me hope. And while I may pass, as we all do, know that no matter how far the distance between us, my love for you will always be strong.
Oh, gracious. Quincy hugs him.
And then, without much other word, he tries to do some small talk. Business, trying to deflect what just happened. But then he will depart for the evening and
be sure to keep that close.
I point to the flower crown.
I think it's some sort of charm. I'm not one for those sorts of things. But you never know.
Well, if it is a charm, may it bring me long life and good health.
It certainly brought you good friends.
The best.
All right, well, good night. Jarvis, where am I staying?
And Jarvis comes and he leads you to one of the more finer rooms in the estate. And while this conversation has been going on and time has passing, what have the younger mice been up to? Let's start with Issa, because she hasn't really done or said much since she's got here. So I'm kind of curious as to what she's doing now that she's on her own.
Well, she's, being Issa. She's not really doing much. She had a quick wash up as it was offered. And she basically just went straight to the room she was given and got down to work on the crowns for Quincy and his cousin.
Okay. What about Jeremy? What trouble is he getting into?
I honestly, he got a story, so he's actually super focused and hyper focused on the story that he got. So he's got the page that he wrote and scribbled notes in his book. So what he's doing is he's actually turned to the next page and is beginning to write it all out in a narrative. So taking the story, adding some flourishes to it, the gleam in the badger's, I think it was badger's eyes during the fight, the way that the blood sprayed through the air as the crimson tornado tore across the battlefield, stuff like that.
Okay.
And he's actually trying to turn it into this large, full-scale narrative story that can be passed around.
Like an epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a heroic epic.
Mm-hmm.
And since you have obtained your goal for this session, you get a persona point.
Woohoo! All right, got it.
Let's see. Because there was a lot of role playing going on in that. I need to look at everyone's character sheets here. So Jeremy, I did that. Philia. Okay, so she's still trying to do the earn respect and honor for going above and beyond to proving that her medical skills are invaluable. Though she has been acting on being there to be the first to volunteer, so she can get a fate point for acting on her instinct. Quincy. Definitely been bragging about himself.
Play that instinct.
Yep. So he's going to get a point for the instinct. And I'm going to give you a fate point for the belief as you've been trying to keep Jeremy in line, trying to show that everything that you do reflects on the mouse guard.
There's a certain regality that we must pursue.
All right, and I'm gonna give Issa a fate point for sticking to the belief, as she's been hiding herself away, trying to keep out of trouble, even trying to be people trying to engage her in conversation. She's always off in her own little world, making her flowers. And before we go to the next day, Philia, what have you been doing while Quincy has been meeting with the mayor?
Ophelia needs to be in top physical condition, so she took her bath, did a couple of probably the most adorably pathetic push-ups you've ever seen in your life, and he is sprawled out on the bed, snoring like a freight train.
Okay. So I have to ask because I don't want this like everybody wakes up at the same sort of time business, because different personalities usually have different times that they wake up. So I believe Quincy, like if I'm not wrong, you would be like up at the crack of dawn.
Well, of course, we have to have morning tea.
All right, so you're easily like the early bird. You're up with the sun.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, how is Jeremy? Is he another early riser, or is he one to sleep in when he can?
I think in this particular instance, somebody's probably going to have to come wake him up, because I think he stayed up all night refining his story until he passed out with the quill in hand.
Okay. What about Issa?
I think Issa's probably an early riser, kind of as a habit that carried over from working in the bakery with her parents, because you got to be up early to get all that stuff ready.
Okay. And Ophelia, are you still snoring away, or are you?
Yeah, absolutely. But she'll bolt down the stairs the moment she smells food.
Okay. So, Issa and Quincy, as normal, seem to like run into each other in the morning, as they're both early risers. You really don't hear much coming from Jeremy's room, but across the hall you can just hear Ophelia snoring up a storm in there.
I will let them sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I assume we probably have experience trying to wake them both up in the past at some point, and it probably wasn't successful. So,
and normally it all depends on the night before. If Jeremy gets into a writing frenzy, he is very hard to wake up. Ophelia is always hard to wake up, but if you like get that little waft of food going, she'll be like at the table in a flash.
Which is particularly bad because Quincy cannot cook.
Who is the cook in this group? I know somebody has skills in cooking.
Is cooking an actual...
It is an actual skill.
It is an actual skill.
But I do know you said you were sort of in a bakery.
Yeah. I did. I mean, I didn't put any points or anything into cooking. But
I have some in cook, but I'm also
being a baker.
right
I
out, so
have some experience at least.
Yeah, you have experience with like preparing the dough and everything for it to go into the oven.
I have 2 points in specifically baker, so there's
There you
that
go.
at least.
So you guys go down and you're given morning tea, and there are a couple there's like a small bowl of fruit and everything that you can choose from. And the mayor is down there as well, and he now has the flower crown like sitting next to him on the table. And a couple hours pass, you make some small talk. And not a couple hours, like maybe an hour later, the smell of food starts to emanate from the kitchen and slowly starts making its way upstairs, and it just like a heat-seeking missile just goes right for Ophelia's nose.
The moment her nose starts to twitch and she realizes what's happening, she throws off the covers, doesn't even bother grabbing her cloak. She is down the stairs. There might even be a little tumble and a clatter and a broken vase on the way down, but she is at the table.
Okay. You mentioned the broken vase. I'm trying to see here. What kind of role could you give for that?
Oh gosh.
Probably Pathfinder.
Like a dirt
Oh,
roll?
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're in a big manor almost.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Lordy.
yeah, give me that Pathfinder to see if like you're able to stumble downstairs in a rush without breaking anything.
gosh, I have no points in Pathfinder. This is gonna be great.
Ooh.
Do this. Okay, so what do you want me to roll?
I still think you get 1d6.
Actually, if you don't have the skill, you use one of the abilities, health or will, to sort of and then you cut it in half and round up.
Okay.
So what's your health?
6.
6. So I think if you roll half your health, that'll have us decide whether you succeed at this or not.
Sounds like a good idea.
And with the greater than 4 thing?
Yep.
Okay.
36 greater than 4.
That'll tell us how many successes you get.
Oh, 1 success.
Ooh.
Okay, so try as you might.
No!
You go crashing out of the bed, throw the door open, and it slams against the wall. It like this startles Jeremy in the other room as he wakes up, as like the quill is like pressed against his face from like the way he's been sleeping on it.
What? Something crashed. That means there's
And
it's a story, right?
yeah, and you hear just like these thunderous footsteps like running through the hallway, bouncing into walls and everything. And then you hear a crash.
So I think with the sound of the crash, Jeremy throws his door open, half awake with his hook and line in his hand, like just ready to engage in whatever is causing the ruckus.
Okay, and as you come out, you see like the tip of a tail running down the staircase, and you see the shattered bust on the floor.
It's an assassin, and he like takes off after him.
No, asesino.
All right, and everyone can hear the crash coming from upstairs. You hear Ophelia just tearing down the hall, like bumping into everything, and then there's a crash. And then moments later, she comes around the corner into the room, and she like dips underneath the table. Now she's sitting in her chair, like kind of breathing a little heavily. And then probably seconds later, in comes Jeremy, still with the quill pressed to his face, but he's got his weapon in hand, looking like he's ready just to dive into combat.
Something was causing a ruckus, and it was an assassin. And breakfast.
And the mayor is, even with the crash, is just losing himself in hysteria at what just happened.
Oh no! I quickly bolt down the hallway to see what was broken.
All right, and you go up, you walk back up the stairs, and right at like near the top landing of the stairs, there was a small oak table that had a bust on it, and the bust has like shattered.
Okay, I have a very specific question. Does the Potter skill work with fixing busts?
Yes.
Ah!
Yes. Like if you want to implement your Potter skill to somehow like MacGyver this thing back together,
Yeah.
you can go right ahead.
Okay. I'm so sorry, sir. She's got hungry. She got hungry. She's really hungry. I have Potter too. Go. One success.
One success. Okay, you get it back together, but you realize that the way that it broke and the way that you have assembled it, that the slightest bump will send this thing crashing. Like you have, it's like one of those engineering marvels where like you're balancing rocks on top of each other, but it's in such a way that if like just a feather were to touch it, it would fall apart.
Is Jarvis around?
Jarvis is not around. Jarvis is in the kitchen.
No! I'm going to stride back. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try to like put another nearby vase like near it to sort of like obscure it.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to sort of like quickly walk back and I'm going to look for Jarvis.
All right, and since you know the layout of this house, so you're able to easily get into the kitchen, and you see him there preparing the food with a couple of the other cooks, and like the bread and everything just smells amazing. As he looks over to you and gives you a smile, he's like, "Couldn't wait until I brought it out."
Funny. I was actually wondering if you needed some help. I wanted to borrow you for a moment.
Borrow me?
Well, yes, I could gladly send one of my patrol guards to come and perhaps whip up a special dish or come help bring food out.
Well,
I understand you have duties.
It's always...
This is urgent.
Oh, very well. Send one of them back. I will go with you on this urgent matter.
Okay. I'll meet you out in the dining room. And Quincy quickly goes into the dining room and sort of like jabs 2 fingers at Ophelia.
I immediately point at Jeremy.
And then I also do one at Jeremy.
What the assassin, right? No.
No.
Oh. He like
you will offer your services to the staff.
I didn't do anything.
You will do something though.
Is it eat all the food before it makes it to the dining room? Because I think I can do that. I'm actually pretty hungry.
Seeing as you were the one who's going to eat it before this lovely morning happened, you may have a nibble. But you have to be useful for them. I have to go take care of a private matter. It's good to see you this morning, Mr. Mayor. Issa, please indulge him in perhaps your time as a tenderpaw, perhaps.
Oh, Issa's gonna tell stories? I don't have any Issa stories yet.
I don't want to do that.
Drag them. It's easy. You just tell a story. And I quickly covered Jeremy's mouth like, ah!
And then I drag Jarvis to go fix it, please.
And you notice that the mayor has held a mug up to his face as like pretending like he's drinking, but you can easily tell that he's laughing at the morning shenanigans.
Oh my god. Oh no. Okay. I try to get my cloak like tied up, like nice and tight, because this is business now. This
business.
This is not Sunday cinnamon rolls and mimosas.
Is that what we're eating?
No.
And like you guys are thrown into the kitchen, and there is bread and whatnot being made, but you also notice that there are baked like apple fritters and like spiced peanuts being prepared as well. And the cook looks over to both of you, and she just snaps her fingers and points over to a station where there's like dough that needs to be prepared for bread.
So they Jeremy will kind of screw his mouth up a little bit, looking at the dough, and go, "But I can actually cook." He's actually doing that wrong, and point at one of the cooks.
Okay, since you said that, can you give me a cooking roll?
Yeah, I can do
like
that.
to see if like you actually point out that something wrong this guy is doing, or if you're just trying to BS or trying to get out of your duties.
Let's see. So cooking, I've got 2 in cook.
Yep.
All right.
Don't forget that you can use your traits to help you. I should have been doing that.
Traits. Let's see where are my traits? What did I put those? Where did I put? Because I remember writing down traits. I just
think
don't...
they're above your health and nature.
Let me see.
Oh, here, sharp tooth is the only one that I have. So that probably doesn't help me cooking.
Yeah, because he's a guard, so he only got 1.
Yeah. Can I use a fate or persona point? Is there a way that I can do that with this to make the roll go in my favor? Or those?
Let me look up
how are those
persona
used?
points. I believe you may be able to.
Persona points can be used in 2 ways. Number 1,
Each persona point can be used to add 1 die to your roll. Number 2, persona points can be used to tap your nature. So you get to add the entirety of your current nature
to this roll. But
Yep, I just found that.
if your nature is not mousy, then it gets reduced by 1.
Okay. Well, my nature is already 1, so I'm going to not do that one. And we'll use it just to give me an additional dice on the roll there.
Okay.
So it'll be 3d6, and I'll reduce one of my persona points because I'm using it on the roll, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good deal. 2 successes.
Two
I'll take it.
successes. And she looks over at one of the cooks who seems to be preparing some sort of oatmeal. And she notices that he's adding a little too much brown sugar, and she walks over and she baps him in the head with a wooden spoon and pushes the oatmeal away. And she like looks at you and she's like, "You do it. You on bread," as a very spurned looking cook that's like hanging his head is now standing next to Ophelia as the head cook moves Jeremy to a station to prepare and make the oatmeal.
He says he looks at the head cook. He says, "If you want to send that cook over, I can show him what he was doing wrong."
It's like, no. She's like, "I will have words with him later."
Oh, I didn't mean to get him in trouble. Okay.
Oh no! You caught something that may have ruined breakfast. Do not feel sorry for that. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, especially for growing young boys such as yourself.
I have heard that said about second breakfast.
Mice are now hobbits.
Yes, especially these 2.
Okay.
It's Hobbit Downton Abbey.
That's right.
Yes.
So both of you, can you I need cooking rolls from both of you to see how well you prepare things.
Hands.
While that is going on, what is Issa doing?
Issa is probably kind of cowering in a corner, mumbling to herself. She's just so distraught about being placed in front of the mayor and told to tell a story.
He shakes his head. He's like, "Dear, please come sit at the table. I'm not going to make you tell me a story if you don't want to."
She very quietly and kind of looking down at her feet approaches the table and sits down, not making eye contact with him.
Okay, and he respects your distance in the matter, and he just sits there and enjoys his morning coffee, letting you just be trying to get comfortable in your position.
And
Okay, sorry.
I think over time she probably will get a little more comfortable with him, not just kind of staying frozen looking down, but probably not enough to actually try and strike up a conversation with him.
It's more she's comfortable existing around him.
Yes.
Okay. Up top, upstairs at the landing, Jarvis looks at you and just picks up the vase and moves it. What happened?
Apparently, in the morning, in the wild of the territories, my poor Tenderpaw becomes consumed by night terrors. And unfortunately, in her terror, she knocked this over upon this breakfast morning.
That poor dear.
Yes, terrible. We had an encounter with a badger.
Oh.
Barely escaped with our tails, especially hers, which is so long. That's why she has nightmares. The tail keeps growing longer and the badger keeps chasing her.
That poor dear. Allow me to provide her with some chamomile tea before you leave.
That would be most appreciative. But first, I wanted to do my best and help amend this this tragic accident.
He shakes his hands like
I didn't have
he's
any
like-
resin or honey.
he's like, do not worry, my boy. This is a practice piece for one of the sculptors that we are hiring.
Oh,
It was simply here drying.
I see.
Nothing of value has been lost. The poor deer cannot be reprimanded for having night terrors, especially that of a badger.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. Still, I will ensure there is no guilt upon her conscience before we leave.
As he nods, he's like, I will have one of the other servants take care of this. Please do not worry yourself over this. Come sit down. Have a cup of coffee. That poor dear must be wetting herself trying to talk to the mayor right now.
Oh, that's true. I should see to it. I'm trying to have her socialize a bit more. Is that how? What did you do with Margaret? She was never one for the sit-ins.
Yes, it's with children like that. It's best to just let them come out of their shell on their own pace. Forcing them sometimes causes them to retreat even more. Like, you don't want her to become a full recluse.
But not when she has to be a bodyguard, of course not. This is the life she has chosen. I intend to see her through it. And it's a great duty, I should say the same.
It's like, mice like her take some patience. But let her come out at her own pace, and you should see a fine mouse guard made from her.
Well, it's a wonder why they don't have you trading tenderpaws at Lockhaven. I'll immediately see if I can steal you from the mayor, perhaps.
He laughs. He's like, I am far too frail to make that journey. Maybe in my younger days, but my time is here.
Oh. Well, still. You do not know the impact your kindness has on this household and on my history as well. I likely won't see you for a long time after we leave.
I look forward to the next day that our paths cross. As he gives you like a reassuring pat on your cheek, and he quickly starts walking back down to the kitchen. Not to be rude, but you know that he is very dutiful and takes his work seriously.
But he works so hard, he doesn't get a break. Not like I do every day.
Yeah, I don't. Quincy doesn't value time as much as he does, but he understands. There, we had our chat. We need to move on now.
Back in the kitchen, the oatmeal's prepared, done correctly, and it is scooped up into bowls, and the plates are being made, and they tell both Ophelia and Jeremy that they can go back to the main room and take their seats, as breakfast will soon be served.
Jeremy leaves, and he's probably got like a bit of oatmeal like stuck in the corner of his whiskers from like sneaking bites as he's preparing it.
Okay.
He's probably not far behind.
And as you guys sit down, Quincy is coming back in. Philia, not Philia, but Issa looks a little less frightened of the mayor, but still in like her own secluded nature.
I think Jeremy will walk up and look at Issa and grab a seat like right next to her by the table, probably like between her and the mayor, and look at Issa and go, so continue your story. I don't have an Issa story yet. I need an Issa story.
There aren't any Issa stories.
Well, that's just not right. We have to find you a story.
No,
you have
we
a
don't.
title now.
No.
You have a title. You have to have a story to go with your title.
The story is that I hold hands. That's it.
Yes, but
That's all.
make one up. Lie to me. Tell me a story. Entertain me.
Issa is not a liar.
But she has the capacity to be. Unmade Gaming, thank you for that host. Video Store Cowboy, welcome in. How are you guys doing this evening?
Oh man, it is a raid.
It is a raid. We don't have a proper raid response. I should really figure something out about that.
Get on that streamer, man.
I know. At least throw hearts in chat and give
Of course.
Unmade Gaming and Video Store Cowboy and Not So Speed Runs a lot of love. They are some amazing, fantastic tabletop streamers. If you guys like what we're doing tonight, make sure you go and drop them follows as well. I'm going to throw a bunch of follow commands in chat. But yes, Issa, you've got to have stories. You have to be able to tell and entertain, even if for no other reason than it gets the focus off of you and onto your words.
Issa?
I don't want to entertain anyone.
But Issa, what about how you picked your color for your cape?
And she's got this big doe-eyed look on her face.
Oh, well, actually, the mentor is in charge of choosing what particular shade goes onto your cape. I just realized I'll probably have to do that for you, Philia. I'm sorry.
Jeremy looks at Ophelia and goes, "You would know that if you had a cape and not a bag."
You can see the fur bristle on the back of her neck.
What about rhubarb? Is rhubarb a good color for you?
She's just slowly swirling a spoonful of oatmeal, and you see her twine in the back of it back and just like taking her aim.
As she takes her aim, like Jarvis just out of nowhere snatches the spoon from her, and he's like, "A lady does not catapult oatmeal across the table."
She wasn't pointing at Issa.
I'm not a lady, I'm a mouse guard.
That's true.
True.
Well, technically not yet.
Remember the setting, my dear. It's please do me this one kindness.
And breakfast is presented to all of you. The bread that Issa helped make made is bread. It isn't burnt. It isn't undercooked. It's bread.
Great.
So breakfast goes by. Everybody gets ready, and the mayor leads you to a small forge. A little bit of ways away from the more prim and proper area, and into like not kind of like the boonies that you were talking about that you got Jeremy excited about, but kind of like Copperdale, but the common area,
The Copperberg.
yeah, Copperberg. And as you are approaching this large forge, you see a small gathering of mice giving hugs and handshakes and whatnot to a rather large looking mouse. He seems to stand at least a head over everyone else, and his fur is this like bright it's like this orangish brown, and he's got his bag over his shoulder, and he has a cloak around his shoulders, but it's more to like fight off the weather than it's like something of a mouse guard would wear. And as you approach, he turns and he smiles to all of you as the mayor is like, "Quincy, may I present to you," what did I say his name was? This mouse.
Christopher something.
Yeah, Christopher Brass. He is the young man that you will be escorting back to Lockhaven.
Most
And
excellent.
Like,
He like very nonchalantly, he walks towards you and just throws out a hand for a handshake. You can see that his hands are clean.
Yes, but I don't shake hands with. Well,
Like-
I give him a salute. I salute him.
All right. And as you salute him, he sort of looks at you for a moment, and then he copies the salute.
Oh no. And I am Patrol Leader Quincy. I am here to ensure that you are brought back to Lockhaven safely and on due time. I'm sure you're very excited.
Yes, it's quite one of those honors that you folk talk about.
Yes. Lockhaven, magnificent, real structure. And it has a beehive, too. I'm sure it's going to be quite the fascinating new home for you. My, what a large family you have. Oh.
And friends and family. Not all my family.
Lovely. Well, this is my own little family, but you could say. This is our Thunderpaw Philia, and our two patrol guards, Jeremy and Issa.
Hi.
Jeremy walks up. So, have you made any named weapons? Do they have stories around them? Can you tell me any of their tales?
He lets out a laugh and he just rustles Jeremy's hair.
What'd you do that for?
He's like, I like this guy.
Oh, all right. I'm not sure about you yet, but I'm sure I'll get to like you.
He goes, named weapons? Nah.
Aw.
That's for people who use them. I just make them.
That's fair, I suppose. Did you make any that ended up with names?
Made a spear once that
Was it his?
He's like, nah, not as pretty. Though I got it, and for some reason the mouse named it Pig Sticker. Don't know why.
What's up?
Maybe he was hunting a boar.
What? Why would you stick? That doesn't make any sense. It's not a stick. It's a spear.
Look, I only make the weapons. I don't ask what they're used for.
I guess that's fair. Okay. If you think of any stories, tell me.
Quincy will lean over to the mayor and say, "This kid's 16.
Yes, he's a rather large boy.
He's a giant rat."
No. We looked into it. He's a mouse.
What?
Can you imagine? He's like
pining.
He's like, can you imagine? He's like, can you imagine him in the guard?
I kind of want him in the guard. Perhaps I could inform him about maybe like in the bear. No, this is not Bill.
He's like, oh, hold on a sec. I forgot something. And he walks into the in like the forge area, and you hear him rustling around. You hear this metal dragging as he comes out, and he hefts up this large broadsword. He's like, almost forgot this.
It's a very fine craft.
Did you make that, or
Yep.
is that yours?
I made it and it is mine.
Does it have a name?
Nope.
So you don't just make screws or, smithy things. You are an armorer.
Yes.
Ah.
I make weapons, armor, anything you need. I mean, if you need screws made, I can make that too. But I kind of like making things that are more useful.
Well, screws are useful. They hold things together.
Nobody tells stories about screws, Jeremy.
Oh, you're right. Never mind.
But not in polite society.
That's true.
You just innocent Ophelia just
Philia.
Whoa!
Philia.
What did she
Where
say?
did that?
She's like, nobody makes stories about screws.
Wait.
I mean they do, but not in polite society.
Wait, you have unpolite stories about screws?
This is
And she just realized she said that out loud.
God.
Like, I'm gonna have just turned my sack upside down and I'm hiding.
He laughs at that. He's like, well, guess it's time to go. After
It's
you,
time
Cap.
To go.
He just calls you Cap.
He's not a.
Quincy just
Never
looks at confusion over to Isabel.
All right, let's go. I'm not a guard captain. What do I do?
I'm scouting. And she
You please scout ahead. Yes. Goodbye, everybody. I do the double kiss with the mayor, and we're good. We're leaving.
I think after he does the double kiss with the mayor, Jeremy will go up to the mayor and go, I will be back because I want to hear more stories about your stuff.
He smiles to Jeremy. He's like, anytime you are in Copperwood, my boy, you are more than welcome to visit me.
Yes. And then he'll like scamper off with the rest of the crew as they've kind of, I'm sure, wandered ahead of him.
Quincy sort of like, he doesn't, but I just think it's funny if when this is said, he just like, his head snaps back. But no, we would like to leave Copperwood.
Yes. And as you guys begin to walk out of Copperwood and down the trail, Christopher begins to whistle. And just seems to like whistle and humming a tune to himself.
Well, you're in a cheery mood, aren't you?
He's like, well, I get to see new places. People want me to work for them. I mean, what's not to love?
Oh, life is full of love. That should be appreciated. You know what else it's full of?
Snacks.
Trees.
Exactly, trees. And all sorts of other rather unsavory things. You've grown up in Copperwood, one of the most respectable towns on the territory's map.
Not to mention we make better armor than everyone.
We'll be the judge of that at the guard, but you're heading towards Lockhaven, which is practically a citadel, the safest place in the territories, I should say. Unfortunately, it means we must travel. And that means you'll have to keep your wits about you. And not only that, you'll have to stop whistling.
But I always like the whistle. Seems to attract more things.
Whistle while you work, not while...
It's like, yeah, but then I come out here and like if things get my way while I'm whistling, well, that's what this is for, as he holds up the sword.
Have you ever actually used that thing?
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of making it if you're never going to use it?
Okay. Okay. We need to set some boundaries. Number one, you're not allowed to fight anything we come across. That's not your job.
Well, then, maybe he like holds his hand out and like goes to hand you. So it's like, maybe you should hold on to this then, because if I have it in hand, I'm gonna start swinging.
I'll carry it.
How you would do no such thing? Don't you have a sheath or something? I don't think.
And he's like, he has his hands out, but he's
It's
not
like
taking
he,
it.
like,
He's just...
he sticks the sword in the ground, and you notice that it's almost at height with you. He's like, do you think I got enough leather to put something like this in there? No, it's more intimidating if I carry it around my shoulder.
Good point. Hold on. Oh boy.
And I grab his hand and I shove it into Issa's hand.
And her cheeks just immediately go bright red.
Hey, you're doing your job. You got your title.
I say, you two are not allowed to release each other's hands.
Well, if you say so. As he picks up the sword, he picks up the sword in his other hand and puts it on his shoulder.
I'm planning on taking that. If you mean what you say, I'm going to trust you not to swing my patrol guard around.
Well, I ain't gonna use her as a weapon.
Please
Then
don't.
give me that weapon. You're not having a weapon.
He's like, look, if you expect me to hold her hand, it kind of puts her at a disadvantage in combat as well, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be better if
Combat?
we were both
I
armed?
don't want any combat.
Isabel, don't get stressed out. We're not going to fight anything just yet. We might not run into anything. This is just a precaution. We are not running into a battle that we can easily escape. We just need you.
Battle?
Yo, dude.
Fight?
Or yo, little man, as he looks over to Jeremy.
Oh no.
I'm gonna name it precaution as he holds up the sword.
Oh my god.
Precaution the longsword. I like it.
Let me get something straight. You are filled with this whimsical idea that because that thing is very big and you are very large as well, you can stand up to whatever thing that crosses your path. I'm telling you right now.
Weasels.
No,
Took a fox down once.
you're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're lying.
Lying ain't a part of me.
Do
I mean, if you want, you can go back into there and ask people in the tavern.
we cannot go back. We can only go forward.
Wait, but there's got to be a story there, right? I need to
not.
hear this.
No, stop. We are leaving right now. Do not fight anything. We are running. You understand me?
Okay, Cap, you have
Running
my
towards
word.
the danger?
No,
You
because
have my word as a smith that I will not fight anything
That's right. You're a smith.
unless it is in self-defense, or as he nods over to Issa, in defense of this little lady here.
Okay. I just have very strict orders that you're supposed to come back without being injured, so we're going to do that, okay?
Of course, I don't plan on letting anything hit me.
Ophelia
I mean-
kind of calls back over her shoulder. Wouldn't it be better for him to not be injured if he was fighting?
She makes a good point. Look,
we'll get to that.
it's like,
we'll
look,
get to that once we actually run into
I
trouble.
promise you,
No.
as like he sets the sword down again, he places his hand on your shoulder, and like even by placing his hand on your shoulder, you can feel just like the strength in these paws. And he's like, I promise you, I will not go rushing off into whimsical combat, as you call it. But I want to carry my sword. Makes me feel safe.
Okay, I'll let you carry your sword, so you can feel safe with these 4 mouse guard escorting you to Lockhaven. And not only that, when you get to Lockhaven, I'm sure you'll have a marvelous time. We are departing now. Please, no whistling.
Very well.
I'm not
I
accomplishing my goal very well.
He's like, I will not whistle. It seems to make you uneasy.
I have a question, Quincy.
What?
What does whimsical combat look like?
It is a
It's
It is
the thing
when-
Ophelia does.
well, no, you'll love when I get started. Whimsical combat is a fool who believes themselves to be either invincible or magnificently skilled, while lacking the training and discipline required to tackle the threats that predators often charge us.
And as you're walking, as you say that, and as you're walking through, he looks over to Jeremy and he's like, well, I sing it while I'm fighting.
It is also whimsical.
That sounds much more whimsical to me. But I like the idea of a singing fighter. Can I use that? Can I use that in a story?
Yes, please.
Free.
Regale me.
Feel free.
Just imagine, if you will, a seasoned... Well, not seasoned, because that defeats the purpose. Seasoned would mean they would know better.
Seasoned with salt and pepper?
Exactly. Someone who is remarkably conscious of this fun idea that they are going to strike out and kill this snake in one hit. I've seen more than enough tenderpaws who do this, and they end up right in the snake's gullet instead.
Well, that doesn't sound very whimsical at all. That's a terrible story.
That is, because this is...
Issa immediately looks over at Ophelia as he says this.
Oh, no. That's right, Jeremy, because unfortunately a lot of the stories that happen in the territories do not end the way you want them to.
Ophelia.
But some still do, right?
Ophelia,
Mm-hmm.
can you roll me a d6?
Sure.
Why am I still talking about this? I'm just...
It's pretty much you guys are walking along through the
Yes.
path, and like you are giving a lecture on whimsical combat.
I am.
All right. And so, as you are scouting ahead, Ophelia, you're a little bit ahead of the group. You notice that up ahead of you, You hear cries of or pleas of help coming from multiple mice. As I need to go to its page.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Is this something Jeremy hears?
Oh, this is something Jeremy hears. As
I'm
there
too busy.
is,
I'm grilling.
as Ophelia notices that there are 3 mice currently set up against a tree with a cart barely holding back. Where is he? Thought I found him.
He's over there.
Yeah. Let's see. What is it called? Oh, yes. That's why I couldn't find it. A large bullfrog has them trapped behind this cart.
Well, the moment that Jeremy hears cries and pleas for help, he's going to unsheath his hook and line and just go charging past Ophelia and down to wherever he's clearly needed at, because this will make a great story.
The instant he does this, I begin chasing after him. Wait for the scout! You're supposed to wait for the scout!
And as they're whizzing
Where's the
past,
scout?
it's like, as they're whizzing past, it's like, found a bullfrog.
Ah!
And
As you
everybody's
You see this fat bullfrog, like very impatiently, like staring at this cart, like just its tongue lashing out and striking it multiple times, trying to get to the frightened mice behind it. And that is where we're gonna stop for tonight.
Oh no! Jason Funderburger.
I'm having way too much fun with this game so far.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
This is great.
I like it.
All right, so you folks that joined us and are watching at home and hopefully enjoying this. If you're not enjoying this, I'm not sure why you stuck around, but thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. Before we go off, we are going to go do a raid here in just a minute, just to go pass the love from the community off to somebody else. But before we do, Hybrid Magpie, who are you and what do you do on the internet?
I am Hybrid Magpie. I am a creative caster here on Twitch. I do emotes, overlays, channel art in general, character drawings, and I do play the occasional video game.
All right. HP Fox, who are you and what do you do on the internet?
I am HB Fox, and I'm the manager behind The Hunter Wild. We have a community-oriented variety cast here on Twitch. We do loads of launch events, and we actually have an event coming up tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow, for Hand of Fate 2, which is, the first one was a spectacular game, and I've been hearing only good things about the second one. And the first one is the only one that has ever made Hunter genuinely rage on stream. So if that interests you, stop by tomorrow.
Right. Rojan, who are you and what do you do on the internet?
I am Rojan Quest. I am a variety broadcaster here on Twitch, as well as one of the co-DMs on Dungeons and Distractions. Over on my channel, I do a majority of RPGs, fighting games, FPSs, pretty much anything I can get my hands on. Just finished up a 24-hour stream for Extra Life, and currently going through Destiny 2, Elix, and if I can get the Murder Hobos back together, Divinity Original Sin 2.
All right. And 4, thank you for joining us for Mouse Guard this month. I'm looking forward to a couple more weeks of this. Who are you and what do you do on the internet?
Well, gracious. My name is 4. I wear bows on my channel, and I also am dedicated to playing these tabletop role-playing games. On Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have community Mouse Guard games. This is our open, just Western Marches style campaign where you can come, create a character, and learn how to play this fantastically entertaining game. But I also am trying to do some Torchbearer as well. So, but Mouse Guard has always been my bread and butter, and I'm glad I could come and help share the
butteriness with all of you.
Thank you for doing it. It's been a blast. And we've got what 2-3 more weeks of this, so I'm super excited. 3 more.
Oh my gosh.
3 more weeks. We got 3
this
more
will be a lot of
episodes
fun.
this.
I'm Ipius. I run Dungeons and Distractions here on Twitch with the help of Roach and Quest and so many other people that I don't have time to name them all. But we do 4 shows a week. Sunday nights is our Blood Moon Adventures. That is our Tomb of Annihilation 5th edition D&D game. Monday nights is my office hours, which I've been terrible about actually streaming, but I'll get better at that at some point. Tuesday nights is Gibbering Mouthers, which is our other 5th edition game, where they're doing insane planar jumping shenanigans. I don't have any other words for that show. And then Wednesday nights is RPG Mixtape, where we play a new system and have a guest star every month. That's the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We are going to go raid, and I think we're going to go raid Eric Vulgaris. He's actually playing or DMing Torchbearer right now, which is something that it's a game that I still want to play, and it sounds like 4 is getting into and going to be DMing soon. So what I want you to do is open his channel up in another tab, pre-type out the message, I heard there were dragons in here, wait for my raid call, and when you see we're here for the XP, go ahead and just light his chat up and show him some love and support, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks so much again for hanging out with us. It's been a blast.
I'm going to upgrade your camp from dangerous to
we should be
unsafe,
clear.
which is
Aw.
What